How are you doing today? Let me take this opportunity to welcome all of us. I hope you can all hear me. Even the guys on that end? Hata huko Aya, sawa sawa. Today we are going to have a wonderful time. And the last time I was here, I promised I'll use the pulpit next time. And then I realized today my message will be kind of different. Because today we'll be doing stories. Story time. In fact, I was thinking of us doing a big bonfire right there. Tuzunguka hiyo bonfire and have a wonderful time with stories. Once again, let me welcome all of us. The year is almost ending, so we need to continue praying that we'll finish the year with a bang. I know we've had few sad news, and many of us we've had some losing people who are very close to us. Some of us issues of illnesses. Let's continue praying for one another. And I just want to say, Bwana Onyaga, we are with you. We are praying for your family. I know it's very hard to lose a daughter. I was with Bwana Onyaga yesterday the whole day. We spent some time together with my chairman, Professor Mumbo, Dr. Nguko, our teacher. Tulikuwa pahali. Najua mnajiuliza wapi. Sio lazima muambiwe kila kitu. So, Bwana Onyaga, we are together. The rest of us, karibuni. Karibu Bwana Tairo. Tairo is a good friend of mine. Niko hapa. Bwana Haywood. Karibu sana. We all know Haywood, eh? Now, one of my local favorite programs is Njoro wa Uba. How many of us watch Njoro wa Uba? Tunawachingi Njoro wa Uba. So who's your favorite character in Njoro wa Uba? Njoro, who else? Odanga. How many of us know Odanga Esquire? Okay, so let me introduce to you and welcome Odanga Esquire. Amka kusalimia. I told him I was not supposed to introduce him, lakini vile alijianika kwa mlango na watu wananiuliza kama ni yeye. I told him I might as well just introduce him. Okay? Great. Thank you, Elder Mwanza, for last Sunday's message. It was powerful. Thank you so much. Very inspiring, and we look forward to having similar life-changing sermons. So today we talk about divine opportunity. Divine opportunity. And there'll be one question every time I'll be asking, what if? What if? Okay? Now, do you know these guys? Shamua. Have you ever heard of Shamua? Shafat, Igal, Palti, Gabriel. Are these people you know? Have you ever heard of a child called Shamua? Shamua Ombui? Ama Shafat Otieno? Ama Igal Kiprotich? These are people we don't know. If I was seated there, I would say the same thing. I don't know them. I've never come across those names. I don't know who they are. And there's a reason why we don't know them. Yet, they've featured prominently in the scriptures, but we don't know them. There's a reason why. Do you know why? And they're not the only ones. The list goes on, but I just chose the 5. Why is it that we don't know them? They are not known. Why is it that people never name their children after them? Why? And yet when we're giving back to our children, we're always looking for names, biblical names, isn't it? But we never land on these guys. So let me take you back to the history. I said today we'll do a lot of stories. I'll do a lot of Bible stories. I'll do a lot of my own personal stories to answer part of what we'll be asking, and some application here and there. You know, the children of Israel were in captivity for about 400 years. Those are like 4 centuries. They were in slavery in Egypt, and they were suffering. And God sent Moses to go and free them. You remember, let my people go. You know, and Moses, God told Moses, go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. If he does not do that, I will send how many plagues? 10. That happened, the people were freed. They left together with their treasures, what they had acquired. Then on their way, the Egyptians changed their mind, they pursued them. God still protected the Israelites. They go to the Red Sea. You remember the stories, today we'll be doing those Bible, Kids Kingdom stories. They go to the Red Sea. God performed a miracle. He parted the Red Sea and they passed through. The Egyptian soldiers who were pursuing them were washed away by the water. God protected them miraculously. So they proceeded complaining and complaining and complaining. Anytime they had no water, they would complain to Moses and Aaron. Every time they had no enough food, it was easier for them to complain than to go on their knees and pray to God. So they complained. When they had no food, they went to Moses, they complained. Now Moses was solid rock, unflinching. Every time there was an issue, he would petition before God. And for their food, he went and God provided quails and manna. They were fed miraculously. All that God will do is just to supply. All he do is just to pick and enjoy a beautiful meal. You remember some of us when we were in the estate used to hunt for birds. Na hiyo nyama ya bushi ilikuwa tamu sana. Si mnakumbuka? Watu wa mtaani. Okay, watu wa Kisumu unajua ni fish. You used to fish. But as you're talking about hunting, that meat was nice. They were having quails in plenty and manna. And yet they were still complaining. So shortly after that, they went to, they settled near Mount Sinai. So I'm just taking this, just basic to bring you to where I want. So they settled near Mount Sinai. It is there that the Lord gave Moses the 10 Commandments. It is there that we are told Moses spoke with the Lord face to face. You know, which you know, if anyone talks to God face to face, they die. It is right there when Moses delayed coming down, what they call apostasy, they decided to rebel and to deny God. They told Aaron, you know what, make a God for us, who will listen to us. In fact, make a God for us, who will take us back where? To Egypt. Now Egypt became the land of prosperity and peace, notwithstanding the fact that they were in slavery for how many centuries? 4. You can imagine, those are some of the passages you read and you feel the heart of God. Being hurt by the people he's been fighting for. People he was performing all these great miracles to make sure that they are okay. Protecting them from the enemies. There they are, demanding another God. Anyway, so after that they started making their way to the promised land. And as you all know, God protected them. During the day, there was a cloud of dust protecting them, smoke. And at night, there was a pillar of fire. So they got now to what their forefathers had been promised. At the age of Canaan, they call it Kadesh Barnea, a town right, they approach it from the south. All they needed is to go up. So, God commanded that they pick one person to represent every tribe and go up north to the promised land and spy the land. The reason why God wanted them to send spies is so that they can know who they were up against. And when you know who you are up against, you prepare. When you know you're inadequate, you look for support. So they went for 40 days. You all know the issues of Rahab, the prostitute and all that. Then they came back. They came back and they reported. There were 12. All the 12 agreed on two facts. That the land was good. They said they came with grapes. Those grapes, one person could not carry them. Isn't it? They were huge, as in the place was fertile. Like which part of Kenya would represent Canaan? Olkalao, kila mtu anasema kwao. Shamahoho. Kisii. Na Nairobi shama ya mawe. Huku ni mashida, na taxes. So they came and they gave two reports. Number one, the land is good. The land is fertile. All the 12 agreed on that. Surprisingly, all the 12 agreed also on the second one. That the land had fortified cities. And there were big people. They were huge. They were giants. We were like what? Grasshoppers before them. So this is the report that they gave in Numbers 13, 30 to 33. It says, then Caleb silenced the people. This is after now, the 10 out of 12 insisted that we will be fools to go up there. We will die. We cannot fight these people. These people are experts. They are warriors. They have both the experience of war and they have the physique. They have the strength. How do we know that? It's like the Lord has brought us on what they call a fool's errand. It is like it was a journey in futility. Why bring us all the way from Egypt for us to come and die in the hands of giants? You know, so then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. But the men who had gone up with him said, you know who are the men who had gone up with him? You remember the names I gave you before? Ya wale watano. Na wengine ongezee watano. Wafike wa 10. Those are the people. Now you understand why we don't know them. How do you get known for this? You know, but the men who had gone with them said, we can't attack those people. I highlighted in red. They are stronger than we are. And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They say the land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Enoch came from Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes and we look the same to them. The giants. You see, the descendants of Enoch were known to be watu wameshiba vizuri wako sawa. Okay? The same thing, the Nephilim. In fact, in Genesis chapter 6, the first time the Bible talks about giants, you know who it's referring to? Nephilim. In Genesis chapter 6. It is believed, Nephilim means the fallen one. It is believed that the Nephilim was as a result of what the Bible called the sons of God mating with daughters of Adam. So they were like forsaken. But now these sons of God, some people have said those were spirit being. They were not like physical. So some of the things, even me, I'm also trying to understand. But what people have sought to understand better is, yes, they say the son of Philip are the ones who made God bring the floods. You know, the Noah and the ark, for them to be cleared. But now the sons of Philip, that is in Exodus chapter 9, the sons of Philip, you still see them later in Numbers 13 and 14. So if they were completely destroyed by the floods, how come then you still see them pre and post flood? And I know the Dr. Irungu can explain to us, you know, but the two thoughts have been, number one, it is possible that since the Son of God are supposed to be spirit being, that even after Noah and the destruction later, since they were still there, they continued mating and Nephilim continued existing. Another one is the daughters of Noah, stepdaughters of Noah, wives of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, who are not descendants of Noah, probably had the genes of Nephilim. So that continued even after the ark. But whatever the case, there's one fact that is not disputable. They were feared. They were huge. They may have been almost like rejected, but they were very, very powerful. Those are the people, still some people believe the spies exaggerated, but you don't see the two heroes, Caleb and Joshua, refuting the fact that those people are strong. There's nowhere they refute. So humanly speaking, those guys were correct, the spies. But what they forgot is what I've highlighted in red. They are stronger than we are. They were comparing them and the giants. If you are comparing them and the giants, and God is not in the equation, then you understand, isn't it? There are some areas where we know you cannot bear. It's more like here, you go to Nyanza, you get Otieno, you get Irungu, you know, you get Akech. You get a group of them and you tell them, you know what, I want you guys to go to Wasingishu. And you guys are going to compete with Kipchoge Marathon. Now, Otieno will tell you, we are non-starters, isn't it? Can Otieno and Okech and Odhiambo compete with Kipruno and Kiprotich? Most likely no. But if you reverse it, and you tell them, okay, I want you guys to go and compete in soccer. Will Kiprotich tomorrow? Aende na Sami Onyango, Jogo, Austin Ogur, Bobby Ogola. You know those names you know in football? They will not. So Belgians are known for some strengths, and some are not. Mwanza na niliza na yetu ni gani? Hiyo tutaongea baadaye. Hiyo tutaongea baadaye. So regions are known for that. So the descendants of Anakites were known to be really big. So what happened? They convinced the Israelites nation that they cannot go and fight. They refused to go and fight. I want you to imagine how God felt. I performed all these miracles to bring these people all the way to this point. They know who I am, they know what I can do. And yet, some giants, mortal men out there, are instilling fear to a point where I'm no longer in the picture. All they are seeing is how inadequate they are as human beings, and they forget to include me, who promised them this land. Their forefathers, Abraham, I told them I'll give you this land. Already it's land that you've been given. All God wanted them is to go, explore, and understand, yes, it is true we cannot beat these people. But as Caleb said, right there, we should go up and possess that land because we fight with God on the forefront of our minds. That's the conviction that God wanted them to have. The 10 had a divine opportunity. They squandered the opportunity. They misled the nation. The cost of squandering such an opportunity is so devastating that you cannot just reverse. What were the consequences? All the idols over 20 years wandered in the desert for how many years? 40 years. They never stepped foot on the promised land. Why? Because of the fear and the faithlessness of 10 men. A whole generation never made it to the promised land. Opportunity. God created, they squandered it. So the question is, what if? Have you asked yourself, what if they had taken advantage of that opportunity? And they inspired the Israelites to enter the promised land. What if that was the case? They would have made it. All of them, even Moses and Aaron, never stepped their foot on the promised land. Only 2 people, 2 adults, who were over 20 at that time. And that is Joshua and Caleb. Opportunity. God gives us opportunities in life. The decision to act or not to act has serious repercussions in life. When you get that one opportunity, you never want to squander it again. The next picture. Joshua, after they now moved into the promised land, Joshua and the army, Joshua was the leader. They fought aggressively. They were able, obviously God on the forefront of their minds. We talk about the wall of Jericho, we all know that. So they fought aggressively. And then Caleb, 85 years old, he looked up the hill at Hebron. This is where now the last descendants of Enoch, Nephilim were still there. They even say that the Philistines from Gath were also part of that. Just imagine that combination. Who do we know was from Gath? Goliath. So hizo ndio mwili tunaongea kuhusu. So the last they need to be captured was in Hebron, up the hill, and Caleb looked up. And he said, now give me this hill country that the Lord promised me that day. Joshua 14:12. You yourself had then, 45 years later, because they did 40 years and then 5 years up to the point now when he's taking over Hebron. You yourselves had 45 years ago that the Anakites were there and their cities were large and fortified. But in red, the Lord helping me, not me going on my own as an 85-year-old guy, the Lord helping me, I will drive them out just as he said. I will not squander this opportunity again. I will go I will redeem myself. Joshua gave him the opportunity, the blessing. He went, he conquered, and that's where Caleb settled. Talk about getting an opportunity, saying it being squandered, it goes. Get another opportunity, say not this time. This time, we are going to make it happen. God puts us in situations and positions where he believes will have an impact. The whole of the year 2024, some of us may have lost a lot of opportunities. Maybe you don't even know. Some of us were in some situations, you look back and you say, wow, if time was to be reversed, this would not be the same. Because you know you lost a certain opportunity right there to have an impact, not just for yourself, but for other people. The next scripture. So we come in Acts. This scripture confirms to us that you are not where you are by accident. God has positioned you at your level. God has positioned you where you are because God has a bigger plan more than what you see. Our foresight may only be able to see few meters, but God has put you in a position where in his own plan there's a map, there's a master plan. He says if this brother, if this sister, in this Bible talk, in this sector, in this neighborhood, at this workplace, if they only do what they need to do, they will be able to realize immeasurably more than what they can think of or even imagine. In Acts 17:26 it says, from one man he made every nation of men that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he determined the time set for them, and in red, the exact places where they should live. The exact places where they should live. You know, in the book of Esther, we read about Esther. Esther was an orphan. Father, mother died, was raised by his cousin, Mordecai. And it happened that the king needed a queen. There was a beauty contest. Esther won. She became the queen. Around that time, there was a senior official who used to work in the royal, in the palace, called who? Haman. Haman needed people to bow before him, and Mordecai, out of conviction, refused to bow before him, and actually tunasema alicatch feelings. Alicatch. And he decided, I'm going to destroy him and all his people. So he was able to convince the king to give a decree and say that, allow all the Jews to be killed. Now, so Mordecai got wind of what was supposed to be done. He knew that a decree has already been passed. And the only person to change that decree, or at least to help with the situation, is the king. So Mordecai communicates to the cousin Esther. And Mordecai tells Esther, listen, we are in trouble. A decree has been passed, our people, all of them are going to be killed. You need to talk to the king. It's like you need to talk to your hubby. Esther knew that you cannot approach the king without king's permission. If you approach the king without the permission, it is what? Death. So he's at the crossroads wondering what to do. And he expressed his fears to Mordecai. And Mordecai told him this semester, you have no choice. If you don't talk to the king and risk going to the king, your father's family and everyone will be killed, exterminated. They will be destroyed. They'll be finished. So he sent that message to Esther. And then he continued that he'd say, listen, Esther, There's a reason why you are in the palace. He said, no. He said, maybe this is the reason why you are in the palace. You're not in the palace just to look pretty, as if you look beautiful. God put you there for a purpose. It is powerful. I know in the book, the only book in the Bible where there is no name God, or Yahweh, or prayer. The entire book of Esther, you won't find that. It talks about just redemption of God's people. So, Esther, then Esther chapter 4 sent his replies to Mordecai, go together, gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it's against the law. Now in red, and if I perish, I perish. You see how you grab an opportunity? It is like I'm all in. Hakuna tisiyu kidogo. If I perish, I perish. When you walk with that conviction, you always succeed. We all know she went to the king. Even the king was shocked. For the king to excuse you not to be killed, he had to extend his scepter to show that, and you touch it, to show that now he has allowed you to be in his presence. So she went, the golden scepter, she touched. The king said, I can give you half the kingdom. What is it? Organize some banquet, first, second. Eventually he said, well, there's someone who wants to destroy me and my people. The king said, who? That guy should be killed. He said, it's Haman. Haman was killed. The decree had already been put out, so it was very hard to change, and the king could not change it, apparently. So there was another decree that was issued that said the Israelites had the right to defend themselves when attacked. And that is what saved them. So the question is, what if Esther continued with that fear to say, oh, I cannot go before the king? What would we be talking about today? A golden opportunity that would have been squandered. Only one decision saves the whole nation. And even at our own level, you may say, oh, me, I'm not in a position in the palace. There's something in your life that calls you to make the right decision and take advantage of the opportunity that God has given you. Let's talk about Jesus, our Lord and Savior. He had an eye for opportunity. In John chapter 4, the Pharisees got to learn that Jesus was baptizing more than John the Baptist. And the Bible tells us, even though it was not Jesus himself who was baptizing. So when Jesus heard that, he decided to go back to Galilee. Now on his way to Samaria, you put it a bit too early, but sour too. I'm wondering why are people taking notes, but sour. On his way to Samaria, he came across, he came to a town called Sychar. While he was at Sychar, a lady came. And the lady was, a lady came, Jesus was by the well, and Jesus saw an opportunity. I think looking at the lady, I can say Jesus saw a whole town. Impacting this one lady will impact a whole town. So the lady came, Jesus started a conversation, helped me with some water. The lady said, well, number one, you and I should not even be talking. You're a Samaritan, I'm a Samaritan, you're a Jew, we are not supposed to associate. Then Jesus, brought in the issue of the living water. He talked about where, their forefathers worship. He talked about, what else did he talk about? He talked about John 4, he talked about, he revealed a lot of things about the lady's personal life, all the men that she had, and all that. And then eventually the lady said, wow, there's a Messiah who is supposed to come. And he'll explain all this to us. And Jesus said, I who speak you am he. I'm the one that you're waiting for. I am. The lady went and she told people all the great things that Jesus told her. So here in John chapter 4 verse 39-42, as a result of Jesus seeing the opportunity and grabbing the opportunity, he says many of the Samaritans from that town believed in him because of the woman's testimony. He told me everything I ever did. So when the Samaritans came to him, they urged him to stay with them, and he stayed 2 days. And because of his words, many more became believers. They said to the woman, we no longer believe just because of what you said. Now we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this man really is the Savior of the world. One woman, a whole town believed. Jesus would have said, what business do I have talking to this woman? That is what we say, an opportunity squandered. Opportunity squandered. I think even in life you have to keep praying and praying for God to show us. For God to show us or open our eyes and show us opportunities. You know, one of these philosophers, I believe, called, I think it's Thomas Edison, gave a quote on opportunity. You know what he said it is? He said, opportunity is missed by many people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like what? Work. Unaiona unachoka. You know ile kitu unasema sasa hii. Because by nature we love easy things. Even for many of us, you know, I mean, some of these things, by the way, that work very well in a business seminar. Okay? Very well. We use opportunities. A lot of opportunities. So I'm very careful not to take that direction. But we lose a lot of opportunities. Opportunities. The difference between successful people and those who are not successful sometimes is not academics. Academics matter, but not always. Sometimes it's not who you know. It is how you're able to identify an opportunity and come up with a good plan to make sure that opportunity is fulfilled. Okay? Now, I don't even know, okay, just go back. Kabla wasome, na washasoma. You see, in life, today I brought a stool. You know, you guys are normally very unfair. Mnakaa chini na mimi nasimama. Okay? So in life, we have the opportunities that many of us, if you're given a chance to come up here today to share, you'll be able to share. Okay? And I think every single one of us here, if you look back at how you've ended up in this hall, and you ask yourself back, I don't know whether you do that, what if that day singeenda kwa hiyo matatu ama kitu kama hiyo? So you all have a conversion stories. You all converted from somewhere. You never dropped in your umoja like manna and quails. Sindio? Somebody wengine ni kwa lift, wengine ni supermarket, wengine ni workmate, wengine ni jirani, but hata jirani, there's a story behind that. Isn't it? You know, I remember my conversion. I'll try to be very brief because I have a few other stories. I used to do French. I did French in high school. Comment ça va? Ça va bien. Tu es content? Je parle un peu français. J'ai fait le français il y a beaucoup de ans. Je t'aime tout le monde. You understand kweli? Hiyo tu ndio najua. Anyway, I used to do French. So we went to a French cultural center. You know where French cultural center is? There was a performance. Then after the performance, and they did very good French songs. I loved whoever was the DJ. So I asked a friend of mine, who was the DJ? I really would want to know. Those days you had a tape. Unakumbuka hizi tapes? Unaenda kudub. So I needed that tape to go dub. So the DJ I was introduced to apparently happened to be, he was in our same high school with us, but 1 year ahead of me. So what I did is, so I spoke to him. He said, oh, that's nice. It was on a Tuesday, remember? He said, oh, come on Thursday. You know, I'll have already prepared it, and then you can accompany me to church. I needed the CD. I showed up. I showed up. Sometimes I wonder whether if it was another approach, whether it would have worked. I showed up at Nathol Fangano Street for the dinosaur disciples who are here. Wale wa kitabu. So anyway, so we went, and great service. A brother called Jim Brown was the one preaching. Immediately the singing was amazing. I was introduced to some few brothers. Then after that, I was told on Saturday they were preparing for the Church Olympics, and I needed to go. We just practice together. I used to play basketball. I used to play actual basketball for our high school. Usione kitangi ushindwe, tulikuwa hapo. So it was really nice. So I think that also helped. So to cut the long story short, you know, here I am today. So I look back sometimes and I ask myself, what if I never attended that concert? You see, there are many opportunities you've lost, but you probably never know because you never grabbed them. What if, I am sure you yourself where you are, you have a story, something similar. God gives us opportunities in life. The other thing about myself, and I don't know about you, is there is a certain feeling, strong feeling, that will occupy me. And my wife will tell you, she knows, anytime I tell her this, she tells you, I've had this before, and I know where this is going. I was staying with my sister in South Bay. I was still leading Bible Talk in Maringo, Marish Ministry. Watu wa Marish wako hapa? Oyombe, Oyombe is the only man standing in Marish. This brother, Oyombe, Isaac, just stand. Now that you said, Oyombe, because I really want us to appreciate him. First, when you were studying the Bible, let me first do this. We were counting cost, and he was a prediction. He was supposed to be baptized, and then he disappeared. We looked for him. We found him. You know Jim Liza with the WAB. Iyo Sonkoro. It was not there that time. But just after that, opposite IFC church, I think it's IFC church. That's where we found him. Okay, we counted cost, and he was baptized. We baptized him in Buruburu phase 2. But the reason I want him to stand is, we had a Bible Talk in Maringo, and as usual, you walk your visitors out. We were a number of us. I think I've given this story before. We were a number of us. Then, police Mahindra, those cars came and stopped. Kila tukaambiwa, mnafanya nini? Na sasa tumebeba our Bibles. You know, it is Oyombe, Elijah Munene, David Mbole, myself. I can't remember who else was there. Maybe Isaac will remember. Tukaingizwa kwa gari. You know, we are disciples, you don't run. Guys in the estate used to run. As you are God, you wait. Mbaka Jogoo Road police station, which is just less than half a kilometer from our house. But the reason why I want Oyombe to stand and appreciate, Oyombe, when we are going, unajua unaambiwa toa kiatu moja, ingia ndani. Me, the Bible Talk leader, was the first one to remove my shoe. Ndani. Isaac Oyombe refused. Isaac Oyombe said, I am not going in without my Bible. Alikataa. Hata mimi nikasema, what? The police had no choice. Oyombe went in with the Bible. And when we went inside, there were a number of people. They used to just pick people, barabara, loitering with intention, whatever they used to say. When we entered the cell, there was still light. When people saw Oyombe, not me or other people, guys inside started shouting, "Awasio easy, awanuma pastor." Because of Oyombe, not because of me or these other guys. So anyway, to cut the long story short, I was the first one to come out. I spent the night, nikazunguka wakatoka. I had to go back. Elijah Monene was the last one, kama kawaida. So I had to go back on Monday to go meet the OCS. My dad was upset. Because I said, you have to continue with Bible talk. Why? Oh, they are devil worshippers in Islam, those days of those issues. I said, no, we have Bible talk again and again and again. We will be picked every time. Hata mimi pia nikachukua convictions za Oyombe. We will be picked every time we have Bible talk. So anyway, so they allowed us to be up to 7. And all that is because of this great man, Isaac Oyombe. Thank you. That time Joyce was not in the picture. Nafikiri hata Joyce aliona hiyo conviction, akaanguka naye. So anyway, let me go back to where was I? South B. So I was staying with my sister while leaving Marine Ministry. So this morning, I wake up having this very strong feeling. I had had my quiet time and I was reading about Peter. And Peter is one of the most exciting, let me say, characters in the Bible. One time he's being told, get behind me, Satan. The other time is the one coming up with ideas during transfiguration. The other time he's cutting somebody's ear. As if you read Peter, it's just action, action, action. So I decided, when I was doing dishes, nakumbuka mpaka ingia kwa jikoni, I had this strong feeling that write a book on Apostle Peter. I have not done it. I don't think I'm a good writer. So I decided, let me do it. It was so strong that this one I could not deny. So after reading, I started for days. Probably like 2-3 weeks, I did several chapters. Those days there was no computer to type, it was handwritten. And some of us, our handwriting is not the best. I was born left-handed, but my dad really beat me to, okay, not beat, but streamlined me to use right. So your confusion, you're right and left, hata handwriting pia inakuwa confused. So I took for lack of a better term, the manuscript to my discipler. That time was the evangelist Richard Alawa, some of you know him. So Richard put that manuscript in the office. I didn't even know all these stories. These were told to me by Richard later. And life continued. Me, I'm waiting for him to read and then give me input. Because many of us, you understand the need to get input. So it happened, without my knowledge, number one, I'd been planned to go lead the church in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, which is a good thing. All of us who are young, you remember you wanted to be in a mission team, Some of even Arusha, my wife and I later we had set up, we could not go. It was like you're fighting to be in the mission. So this could be a bit confusing. So the plan was for me to go lead the church in Addis Ababa. So I think we're trying to finalize, then let me know. I was going steady. I think I just started going steady with my special friend called Amuya. So she was not in the ministry that time. I was in the ministry, which was a bit, for most people could not understand how, that happened at that point. But the potential, they had seen the potential because she later obviously came into the ministry. So that time she was not in the ministry. So it happened when Richard put the manuscript in the office. It was around the same time now the Africa leader called Mike Toliver had visited and was doing something in the office. And while he was checking, he came across this manuscript and he thought it's Richard doing a book. The title was From a Reed to a Rock. Peter was from a reed, to a rock. So Mike Tolliver read and he said, "Oh, Richard, you're doing a book." Richard said, "No, it's not me, it's John Irungu who is doing something, I'm trying to give input." Then Mike Tolliver said, "And you're planning to take him to Addis at this time?" He said, "Yes." He said, "This is not the right time to take him to Addis. You need to raise him up to be your right-hand man." So that time my brother called Jeff Maloba was the one who went. I didn't know all this. These are being told much later. Now, I would have loved to go to Addis. But I think the biggest challenge would have been how will I maintain my relationship with my special friend, because I was not going with her. Nimwache Nairobi. Na kuna mabrothers nilikuwa nawaona. Wengine hata wako hapa leo. Nilikuwa nawaonea 18. It's true. That's a story of another day. So that's how the plan for me, which for me was more because of the relationship and the family, because sometimes I look back and say, I'm happily married. Now I'm trying to imagine if I had gone to Addis at that time, what would have happened? So that is when I was moved from Irungu ministry, now to go to Metro. I was leading Irungu ministry, I think we were 12 or 13 or 14. Wakina John, Ayub, David, and Wakina Ken Okutoi, all those guys. Now, as a single man to go lead a ministry that was, I think there were more than 100 that time. Why? Because of a book. A book up to now, I don't even tell you where it is. I'm serious. There's a brother, John Kilaha, John Kilaha took it, he was happy, he went, he typed it and he sent it to me. I think it was not my interest. That book just served that purpose. Na ikaishia hapo, na story ikaishia. Kwa some of you wanted to ask, where is it tusome? Hata mimi naitafuta. I don't know where it is. But what I'm saying is this. I keep asking myself, what if? What if that in the kitchen I was doing dishes? Your feeling, it came very strong. Ningesema hii wachana nayo. Those are the opportunities. I was trying, when I was preparing this message, I was looking at the different opportunities. I was saying, what if? Okay? So later, I'm trying to give examples that relate to the church. Then later now we started living together and all that. I think you remember there's once we were here with the elders of Triangle and we were talking about our journey. You remember that? So when changes happened in 2003 in our entire movement, all the leaders, international leaders went back, we were left to lead, we had no money. So we really had to struggle for the little that would get through South Africa. Triangle came through, but even after Triangle came through, we still did not have enough. We needed to really stabilize properly. Because around that time, most of the staff, and God works miraculously. I was the chairman of Hope Worldwide, and that time we got an opportunity, a grant came through, and we needed more workers. Around the same time, church is going through a challenge, so we, for lack of a better term, we offloaded some of the staff here, those who are qualified to go up for Hope. Now, I want to talk about a trip we did once with my wife. You see how God works miraculously. So we went to a conference in 2006. It was in Seattle, in Washington State. How do I put it? Without giving too much. I'm normally accused of giving too much details. You want details or you don't want details? Unataka details? So hiyo jani kwanza ilianza na shida. The brother who was supposed to book the hotel for us was not well conversant with those many, but he still told us he booked. So we arrived in a city we don't know at night. Two couples, us and the other couple. The good thing, there was a brother who used to be here called, he used to act Kibaki in most of, Peter Geshohi, he's in Seattle. So we had organized the one who came and picked us. So he took us to the hotel where the conference was, because people normally are booked in the hotel. Our names are not there. It was actually almost 10 p.m. You have no idea where to go. If Peter Geshohi was not there, tungelala kwa kituo cha basi. Where would we have gone? So we decided to drive around to look for motels. The first one we went, the guy there had a lot of F words. I think they were arguing with someone, and the other brother told me, no, this is not the place. So anyway, we went eventually got a place. Now, the advantage with that, it was about 2 kilometers away from Westin Hotel where the conference was. So my wife and I used to walk a lot and talk. So this morning I told my wife, you know what, I feel like I need to be aggressive today. I need to get a sponsor, someone we can partner with for Nairobi in addition to Triangle. And we kept talking. You know, now you are walking in the streets of, you go to Mezijua, because you walk every day back and forth. So during the, conferences, you are given like 6 classes going on at the same time. You select which one you want to go to. So we went to this particular one. My wife sat next to this lady. During break, I said, this is the time. Kwenda fishing. So I went, now you have tags, you have tag written, Austin, Texas, or whatever, Washington, D.C., but under the name. So I was looking for people from North Carolina. But the only church we were working with was Charlotte and Triangle. Nikaenda fishing. I met Mike Toliver there. Akaniambia, you're also looking. Akaniambia, I'm also looking for Africa, not for the entire Africa. Coincidentally, let me use the word coincidentally, but I believe this is God. This guy is coming out of the washroom, and I'm going, and I read the tag. It's written his name, and Greensboro, North Carolina. I said, oh, hi, I'm George Irungu from Nairobi, Kenya, blah, 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 blah. We talked. And then I said, it will be so good, we can have lunch together. He said, yeah, I can, we can have lunch. I said, my wife is back there. I said, okay. He said, you talk to his wife, you see if you can do lunch. But, some of you are thinking, when we went to the conference plan, I was learning. Really quite extracurricular activity after class. So I went back. Do you know, this guy's wife was seated next to my wife, and they had already started having a rapport. They said, let's go for lunch. In the name of Samaki, the opportunity. We went, now when you say let's go for lunch, as you are from Africa. So they took us to the first Starbucks is in Seattle, blah, 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 blah. Hizo vitu zote unaona na unafurahia, but you have your agenda. So when we sat down, I pitched. Nikasema hii, they said, well, we are a small church, we'll go talk to the elders. I said, I'd be willing to come and talk to the elders and speak to the church. So coincidentally, one of their main leaders, they were not elders really, they were leaders, was the roommate to Tom Perkins. You know Tom Perkins? Imagine, even a coincidence. I said, no, man, that's even talk to Tom Perkins. You ask Tom Perkins if he knows George Irungu. Sababu najua ndapewa dini. So anyway, so to cut the long story short, they spoke to the Nini. I was invited there twice to go speak. I preached there twice. And this is, I don't know how many years back. They offered to support, and they started supporting Nairobi. Now, immediately, There's always good side, and it was a very sad part, because this brother and the wife played that part of connecting us. In fact, it didn't take like 6 months after they confirmed. The brother and the wife had one of the cameras, Talavera, isn't it what is Mexico? A bad separation. You know, I really used to feel for him. I would meet him anytime I would go and spend. And in my mind, I'm thinking, was he just there to help do this connection? After that, because after that he stopped being in the ministry. In fact, it was bad. That's why up to now I've not given you their names, because it was not a good one in the North Carolina, you know. But the connection was done. The connection was done. It's like for me, by the way, when I was telling you about my conversion, the brother who invited me to church also invited Karon Kenya. For most of you know Karon Kenya. 3 weeks before I was even baptized, he was disfellowshipped because of division and all that. Naende alinialika kanisa. Had I delayed, you know, you must get your whole time. Ningedelay, hata mngekuwa mnanijua na singekuwa nawajua. You see, that's what happened with Greensboro. You know, the Greensboro leader will be coming next month, so you will get to see him. But that's how coincidence, I don't use the word coincidence, opportunity. What if I had gone to that conference na niamua kukaa tu kama watu wengine? You see, it is my responsibility. God put me there, not somebody in Nairobi. If I fail other people. Because God has put you there to play that part. Not other people because they don't have the opportunities that you have. Having an impact in whatever sphere, whatever position God had put you. I think finally, I had a number of them. Let me share these as the final one. Watch as zingine za siku nyingine. This is for me like the showstopper. We went for, I don't know whether the sisters will remember, we went for a funeral of a relative of, I think, Bonfas Masila, uko wote. So when we were driving back, we were, I don't know whether Margaret can remember. Margaret was in the car. Alice Wanja, where is Alice? Alice Wanja was in the car, and Christine. Is Christine here? And Christine. They were seated behind. Dan Malika was the one driving. I was on the passenger seat, and we talked about Shauri Moyo. We talked about the need to have our own place. I think I remember when Nadi suggested we just need our Mabaki place. Because you see, Shauri Moyo, the land was there and everything. But sometimes the leaking, and then you are preaching, unapata note unaambiwa harakisha wengine wanangojea nje. Because there was another service ya Joe Kayo, you know, the late Joe Kayo, that was supposed to come in. So it was buffering us. And it was a heavy load. And you know now when people are telling you that, it is you to figure out how you will get as out of Shauri Moyo. Because you are the one who has been put there to influence. So the burden was there. Now I've just come from again one of those trips in the US, and I knew Triangle Church did not have money. They were also going through some of the challenges we are going through here, because they also had 2 leaders. And I knew a lot was going on because they kept filling me in on the details. So now the issue was, what do we do? We even tried to preach about raising, was it 36 million, Shauri Moyo, if you remember? How many of us remember that, the message you were preaching about raising 36 million? Unaangalia congregation. Mimi mwenyewe siwezi, unaangalia unasema, hey, because faith. Faith is faith. Raising 36 million. We even had this fish design. So, but anyway, so on this particular day, Saturday, not even a hint of exaggeration from what I'm going to share. On Saturday morning, that night I could not sleep really well. Saturday morning, I woke up and I decided I will do a proposal or a letter, a request. Kama mbaya mbaya. You know, have you been pushed where umefika mbaya na unasema, like Esther, you're at the crossroads, you don't know what to do. I took 4 hours seated in my dining table at Buruburu. I did, you know, and I knew this request I want to send it to the Triangle Church. I know they have no money. I know they are having battles kidogo hapa na pale, but I'm going to send it anyway. So I did it in the computer, nikawacha hapo. I called my wife. She's here, she'll confirm to you. Nikamwambia iko hivi. I've done a letter. Those days, I'm not saying that's the way it's supposed to be. I did not have committees to consult. Hakukuwa WhatsApp groups. Hakukuwa hizo zote. So it was just, and I knew the Triangle Church mainly just on this side, only me. Hakuna watu wengine. So I called my wife, Joy and Peace, who are here. Before I pressed send, we prayed. Kwa sitting room, computer kwa dining table. Nikamwambia unaona pale, I'm going to press send, and I may risk my own relationship with these guys. I don't know how it will go. You know, one of these days I look for that letter probably near somewhere. I also included Kids Kingdom. It was more like just some proposals, also on how we can be self-sufficient. So it wasn't just give me money, you know. So I pressed, after we prayed, we held hands, the 4 of us, Purity and Matthew had not been born, we sent. The following day, Sunday, I had a meeting. Kinasani, you know, Baba Pauline and the others, I told them, you know what, iko hivi. I did a request to Triangle and I've already sent it. And I've not received any response. So we agreed that we'll be praying. Monday, hakuna response. Tuesday, hakuna response. Thursday, tunakufa na anxiety. Hakuna response. I think it was Thursday that Rick Ovechano, the leader, whom we'll also get to meet next month, wrote back and he said, George, we received your request and we are discussing as a leadership. I told my wife, that is good. Kama ingekuwa no, ingekuwa nishapa wanao kitambo. So we continued praying, and the brothers and sisters who prayed. Much later, I think it was slightly over a week. No, they waited for Sunday to discuss the law on Monday. I got the response that we have agreed, we'll do fundraising, and we'll buy land for you. Mimi nakwambia, I could not believe it. I was waiting for whatever will come. They got the fundraising, they send us money. No, that was problem number 1. We had money in the account. Number 2, shamba iko wapi? Hey, some will tell you, we used to go up the mountain in Bakasi. I was so daring, and I don't know where I got them with that courage. I wanted to buy somebody's church in out there. Then they didn't know where I was setting up. When they showed up, I chickened out. Nikashindwa hata kuambia ati not. Nimeangalia kanisa hili nikaona amwezi endelea, wacha ninunue. It was an insult. Oh man, things that you've done because you have money. I don't know what to tell Triangle. Though initially we had seen land here in Chief PCA. I don't know benaitwaje watu moja. If you take that route, there were plots before people started building. So we had seen how we buy a few, amalgamate, and you know, but all that. Anyway, to end up where we are, Anne's dad had already told me about this. Hii kiwanja nilikuwa naiogopa sababu mnakumbuka shida za Mwenje and those days. But I don't know why when our evangelist son came and told me, you know what, I think he told me there was a brother who had given me the, he said, this time looks genuine. and I was really desperate. Getting land in Nairobi, I just hope God will never give me that responsibility again. We got conmen after conmen after conmen. So anyway, so Sammy came and he told me about this. So we went to, one of our brothers was in court. So after the session, Sammy and I, for the first time, went to meet now the wazers of this place. Anyway, so I won't give you all the details, but that's how we ended up here. This plot where you see the Kids Kingdom was designated for a petrol station. We bought 1 acre, excluding this area. And then later we realized we still have bala, una pesa. Unajua ile joto ya pesa? Pesa imekuja in dollars. So we went to renegotiate. This one was slightly higher than the rate we got for 1 acre. And it was slightly more than quarter of an acre. So they agreed, so we got this 1 acre plus that. Now it happened around the same time there was a case for this land. Okay, a bad case. It involved the minister, that time was Kivuda Kibwana of lands, it was anyway to prolong for long. It was one of those days, you have anxiety disorder. We are the ones who opened up this land. We went to pay land rates, 3.1 million initial, to open up this area. There was no construction, that's what they were waiting for. And that's why we got this shamba at a good deal. Because you're willing to pay cash. But after paying cash, kuna kesi. So anyway, the case was determined. The government got what they wanted, 15 acres, 10 acres for the hospital, 5 acres for the administration. And their deal was for them to provide roads and electricity. I don't even know whether they've done that now. And to cut the long story short, we ended up with our own place. We worked hard, Harambes, for the contribution, the East, the Metro also contributed. So we worked very hard, but I always ask myself, when we were doing this, what if I had said the responsibility and it is not my responsibility. There's a day I was seated behind there and I'm thinking, God ametutoa mbali. The days of Shauri Moyo. But Shauri Moyo had its own fun. Isn't it? For those, the dinosaurs, one walikuwa sees the days of Bini. What if? So my question is, there are opportunities at wherever you are, at a Bible talk, an impact you can have as a Bible talk leader. But part of the reason why things are the way they are is because the initiative has not been made. When we do things, monotony for me is the enemy of growth. You have to keep asking yourself, how do we improve? How do we make things better? How do we make things more dynamic? How do we do things differently to make them even better? You understand what I'm saying? Opportunities are there. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't succeed, for me, is the fact that some will take the opportunity and some will not. And one decision may impact positively or negatively a huge crowd or a huge number. Opportunities. Doors opening. Maxine. For how do we get to know that an opportunity is from God? Because see, huwezi kuja uniambie, nimeitiwa tenda ingine hapo dubious, ya kuuza bangi. Ina pesa, nafikiria hiyo ni Mungu amenipatia. Okay? The door that opens will never contradict God's word. That's a true measure of you getting to know whether the opportunity is from God or not. The second one, the door God opens will be accompanied by confirmation. Some of us, it's our wives. You talk to your wife, you tell him, this is what I'm planning, this is what I'm thinking. This I'm thinking is the best way to do forward. And then, it will be very easy. Your Bible, our leader, or other Bible talk leaders, or your partner, whoever it is, there's just a way godly people will confirm to you whether that's a godly opportunity or not. And finally, The door God opens will require you to depend on him. Anytime you feel like, yes, I want this, but I can't do it without God, then that's a godly one. That's a godly opportunity, because if that does, there's room for God. And anytime you involve God in your plans, you will always succeed. Finally, be very careful then, Ephesians 5:15 to 16, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity. Opportunities are there, don't let them go. Make use of every opportunity, because the days are evil. God positions you in the right place because God has a plan for you. Opportunities will come and opportunities will go. But those who succeed, as I've said, are those who take advantage of the opportunity and ensure, since you are told God put you there to glorify him, and ensure that opportunity gives God the glory that he deserves. Thank you so much.